Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for being patrons. I really appreciate you. So this tutorial is going to be full length and in depth, and it's going to cover how to paint this lightning bolt. There's some lit up clouds at the top, got a horizon line, some rain. It's just an interesting piece, and it's really not that complicated. So let's dive into it. We'll cover the brushes, techniques, cover every detail, all the colors. Yeah, so let's do it. So these are the brushes you'll need. Some sort of square wash brush like that. It's about a 3/4 inch. That's a 1/2 inch angled brush. Filbert brush, a couple smaller angled brushes, and then just some sort of fine point. That's a number 1 round, I believe. But with these brushes, you can do anything you need to do. So you don't need this exact brand, but I'm using Gamblin oil paints, and this is titanium white, ultramarine blue, ivory black, alizarin crimson, yellow ochre, and burnt umber. And that's going to give us anything we'll need. I'm using a brush cleaner to thin out the paint, mineral spirits, that's all it is. So just to show you all the colors you'll need, this is for the horizon and the land. That's a little bit of the black and burnt umber. And then I'm also mixing in a little bit of ochre just to show you what that looks like. And that's used barely at all, but right underneath the lightning bolt, I mixed in just a subtle little bit of that lighter color that we just mixed up. But most of the entire horizon is just that burnt umber and Mars black mixture. So here's a little bit of the alizarin crimson and the ultramarine blue mixed up to make a purple. You can mix in a little bit of white there to get a lighter purple. But that dark purple we used on the left side of the painting in order just to get some nice dark purple contrast. It makes for an interesting color and a good sky. So again, you can make multiple shades here. You can add even more if you want a lighter purple. But that's just an example. But yeah, the purples and the blues are going to be key. So now here's some of the pure blue, which we use. You can mix in a little bit of the black to get a dark blue. And if you're having trouble mixing or blending, just dip your brush in a little bit of that paint thinner that I just showed you, some of that mineral spirits, and it'll thin everything out for you. So here we can also get a nice light blue by mixing in some white. And we use that on the clouds and some of the lighter areas of the sky. But those are pretty much the only colors you're going to need. Not pretty much, those are the only colors you're going to need. So that's how you'll blend up anything you'll want. And let's jump in. So I got the small square wash brush and some of that brown and black that we mixed up. And I'm just going to block in a horizon line and get the land in there. So this is just a simple, flat, basic color. You don't have to worry about any sort of highlighting or blending or anything here. We're just getting a basic horizon line. And just make sure it's all blocked in. And now using that same brush, we can move into the sky. And you don't have to do the exact color patterns that I'm doing. You can if you want. But really, I just want to use a variation of blues and purples. So what we just mixed up in color, I want to use a lot of those variations in different chunks. So on my scheme, I'm going to have it darker on the left, and then it's going to get lighter as it moves to the right. We're going to have some rain clouds on the right. Um, and we're going to have some light blues up at the top for the cloud area. But on the left there, I'm using that dark purple and that dark blue and black that we mixed up, and that's going to be the main portion on the left. In the middle and the right, it's going to be mostly, just pure blue with a little bit of white there. And then we're gonna gradually add more white to the blue and purple as we get further to the right. See, there's even more white. And all these are going to be mixed together. So we're just laying down the color, getting some interesting variation in our blues, and we're sticking to that scheme. And then as we get everything in, we'll start blending everything out and get it all to look soft and blend together for us. So we're just mapping out things right now. Okay, so now that all of our colors are blended out, we have that subtle dark to light from left to right, I'm going to go in and put in the glowing clouds that are going to be the center point of where the lightning bolt is coming out. So I just have pretty much bright white, and I'm just blending it in that center oval. And that's going to be a lit up cloud portion where the bolt's coming out. And then as I get further away from that point, I'm going to add more blue and less white, so we get more gray blue, off blue clouds as we get further away, because that's going to be the brightest point, and then it's going to get darker as you get further away. So here I'm just adding a little blue right underneath my cloud shelf just to define it with some contrast. And then, as I said, with that filbert, I'm just using different blues, getting from white to blue in a gradient as I get further away from that bolt origination point that we're putting in right there. So that's going to be pretty much bright white, and then just get darker as you get further away, and just define the clouds, work in some different shapes. And then here I'm just working in some of the basic rain that's going to be coming down. And I'm just using the filbert with an off blue, just blue and white mixed, and just softly going in the same direction, back and forth, staying consistent on that direction. You can go ahead and work in basic rain clouds. or a rain pattern. So that's what that was, and that's what that is. So here everything's really getting mapped out, and I'm going back in for a second layer, and this is with a dark purple and a dark blue mix. And like I said, I want that left portion to be darker because it gives contrast against the rain, and it also gives contrast against the lightning bolt, and it helps to define those lighter clouds that are up above it. So having a nice chunk of the sky dark really is helpful in building contrast in a lot of different elements. This is just a filbert brush, and I'm blending everything out, working it in, getting it nice and soft, but just slowly darkening things up there on the left half. Okay, so I have a small round brush, and I went ahead and defined a pure white cloud because we're getting ready to put in the bolt, so I really want that defined. And here you can see I'm just using a dry, clean Q-tip, and I'm blending out a lot of the clouds, and especially that center bolt glow of the cloud there. So that's a little trick, is you can use that Q-tip to really blend things out well with oils if you're having trouble with any of your other brushes. And then now just using a number 1 or a number 2 round, just a nice pointed brush, go ahead and get bright white, and let's lay in your initial bolt. You can see actually down towards the horizon line I added a little bit of lighter blue, just because that's what happens a lot in nature. There's a little glow to the horizon, and I think it'll make it more interesting. So once you've added your bolt, here's the key: is get a clean brush, a clean pointed brush. You can use the same one if you want. Dip it in some of that thinner, get it moist, and go ahead and blend out that bolt so that it's not a defined just line of white. We want it to be a glow. So for this initial layer of the bolt, we want to blend out both the edges really well. So lay down some good color like this, but really we're going to be blending this out as soft as you can. And then on top of that, we're going to add more layers of the bolt, and then it'll really look real. But it's very important that you blend this out, because if not, it just won't look natural. So this is kind of the key to the painting. So take your time with this and get that blended out as soft and as well as you can. All right, so now it's looking good and it's well blended. And now we can go on top of that with some more bright white and lay in uh, the actual lightning bolt. So this is the fun part, and with this lightning bolt, you can make it any shape you want. You don't have to follow the same shape I did, but just however you make it, the main bolt, just remember to blend it out well, and you'll be good to go. And then on top of it, just go ahead and add some bright white and really make it pop. Make that paint thick because that's the center point. And you can see that glow behind it really makes it look real and nice. So that's kind of the key. So now I'm just working in some more rain using that filbert brush and that blue and white mix. And like we said, it's just try to stay in the same consistent direction with your strokes so they're not crossing each other or anything. Just keep them parallel and consistent and soft, and you'll get that subtle uh, rainfall, and it'll look like it's just barely lit up from the lightning bolt, and it'll look nice. So that's how you do that. Just real soft, consistent strokes. So here I'm just going over it again with some more white. I really want that bolt to pop compared to everything else, so just keep going over it until it's really bold. And then we can start to go in and add the little tendrils and the variations to the bolt. And this is also just a fun, creative thing here, so you can put these wherever you want. Um, but these are worth it. You really need to add these to make it look realistic. So I just go in a bunch of random directions, just zigzagging and all over the place. So just do that however you want and try to have it taper off to a fine point at the end. And if you do that, it's going to look good. And these you don't have to blend out to get that big glow like we did on the main center bolt. These are more, they're not as bright and powerful, so they won't have that big glow that the center bolt has. So you don't have to worry about that. This is more just making unique shapes and just adding to the bolt itself and making it more interesting. So now I'm going to work up into the clouds and start to reinforce them. And I'm using a small angled brush here. And I like angled brushes for clouds because you can get good wide soft blends, and then you can also spin it and get that point for definition. So these angled brushes are great for clouds. And now what I want to keep in mind here is as you get further away from that bolt cloud center point, it's going to get darker. So just keep that in mind. So keep it pretty much bright white clouds right above the bolt, and then just add more blue to it as you get further away, and it'll look great. And then here I'm just going ahead and reinforcing the rain, getting another layer on it. and just, adding some layers here and bringing everything to life. All right, so it's starting to look good now, and I'm just going ahead and adding another layer of really dark purple and blue to the left. So I just want that left to be really dark. I'm just blending that out with a filbert. Here I'm adding just a little bit of the dark purple and blue, just to border those clouds up at the top. And this framing with that dark blue and purple really shows that those clouds are glowing and lit up from the light of the bolt. So that's the purpose there, really. So here you can see right underneath the bolt in the land, I did work in a little bit of that yellow ochre, just like we talked about, but it's really subtle and just a little bit. Don't make it too defined, because it's really not a powerful enough light to light up all that ground. Just super subtle. And then now with a light white blue, I'm going in, I'm just reinforcing that glow on the horizon. I think it'll be a nice touch and just help to give some contrast and show the power of the bolt. Now it's pretty much wrapped up, so we're just doing some little finishing touches here, some tweaks where you think it's needed, and once you have everything, blended out and set in, and have the bolt the way you want it, and you're pretty much there. So yeah, so I hope this helped. I hope you like it. Good luck on yours. Feel free to reach out with any questions. Just shoot me a message through Patreon. I'd be happy to help. And good luck. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much again.